The Last of Us Factions was one of my favorite multiplayer experiences for 2 generations in a row. I played it from 2013 to 2020, a solid 8 years. I had those servers in a chokehold. So, since then, there's been no other game that I've played for that long, and there's been no other game that unique that has filled that void since release. So, I've been anticipating the follow-up, and I have my concerns because we still don't really know all that much, and we still won't know anything for a few more months to come. That being said, I do know what I want to see, and those things are... The first thing I want is to pay for it. I don't want a low barrier of entry, especially if this is a day and date release on PC, which I don't think it will be. But we saw what happened with Warzone and free to play. The scumbags come right back like nothing happened. So I just feel like you get an overall higher quality of players when a game isn't free to play, because you're not getting any random straggler who saw free and hit download. And all the previous Naughty Dog multiplayer games were paid for and still had microtransactions. So I'm not saying they'll be gone, but I'm hoping it would at least be dialed back. I mean, the Last of Us guns that people said were pay to win at like $1.50. So, you know, that's manageable for me. You know, not saying it should be like that. Preferably, I'd like it if it wasn't. But I can deal with that if that's the worst case scenario. If it's good and I'll be playing the game for years, I don't have a problem paying for it. I'd rather pay the price, full price even, and avoid some of the shortcomings that occur with free-to-play games. The second thing I want is factions, that standard classic mode from the first game, preferably all factions, no distractions, but I know the chances of that happening are super low, so as long as I get my OG game mode, I'll be happy. If they want to do a Battle Royale mode or Division 2 style mode, then I'm cool with that. Now, I've heard people say that that's not going to happen. They wouldn't spread themselves thin. It's like going to be one or the other. They won't give you a classic mode and this new mode, but I don't necessarily agree with that. The game has been in development for a long time, and it's a standalone. We all like factions the first time around, and they worked on the single player, which we all like. So I feel like they can do both. I just look at the additional game mode, like the single player. They can work on 2 things at once. My only hope is that it doesn't end up like Warzone with Call of Duty, where, you know, the other mode eclipses the old mode and doesn't get as much love post-release. But I'm not too concerned with developers spreading themselves too thin on this one. I feel like the old mode can be done and a new spin can be done too. Now, as for story, because I played the clip, there is supposed to be a story in this game.
What can you tell us about this new standalone multiplayer game?
Yeah, so we have a concept art that we want to show.
Yeah.
But what I can tell you is that this game is big.
Okay.
It's as big as any of our single-player games that we've done, and in some ways bigger. It's got a story. The way we're telling that story is very unique to this game. It's got a brand new cast of characters. It takes place at another place, another part of the United States.
It's like a city might be somewhat familiar to some people.
I'm sure our fans have already figured it out.
I don't care. When it comes to story in online games, that's not really something I'm looking for. I want multiplayer. I want to play against other players. If I want story, I'll play a campaign. So if the story is a more in-depth version of what kind of seemed tacked on to the factions component of the first game, and I'm talking about feeding your camp, not the online here, then cool, but I don't want them doing too much. Just work on The Last of Us 3 or a new IP. I don't need a story in my multiplayer. Don't go too crazy. I don't want them feeling like they need to tack on a story aspect to make the volume seem higher and worthy of a standalone. I'm cool with it being straight online. Now, for the gameplay, this is an interesting one. I don't know how to feel. With the whole situation with The Last of Us Part 1 remake and people wanting dodging and prone, I completely understood. I wanted that too. But with multiplayer, it's a bit different. Dodging, I don't think that would work. And prone, like I said, I was on the first game for a very long time, so I can tell you right now that will be exploited, because those people on those servers are some of the most scummiest scumbags I've ever played against in any online games. They do that little shoulder switch to shoot through walls, so camping and proning, and they'll love that. So I don't know if I really want that. Now, I don't mind bigger maps with the faster running from The Last of Us 2. I don't mind a 5v5 instead of 4v4. But the core mechanics I would like to remain basically the same, because I feel like that gameplay still holds up to this day. As for game modes, everyone wanted a horde mode. I feel like that would get boring really quickly, so I'm not looking for a horde mode. I might play it, you know, but not for long. Survivor, the base game mode, team deathmatch, basically, yeah, we need that back, obviously. Interrogation, I didn't get that much playtime from it or anyone that I really know, but it was a cool mode. It can stay. I would like capture the flag. I feel like that would really fit in this game. And then also I'd say maybe a hardcore survivor mode that had no listen mode, and that would basically would be it. I would say no purchasable weapons, but if they're balanced right to begin with, then I'm fine with it. No handicaps. No, there's a bomb in your box because you're losing. No handouts. When you're losing, and no listen mode. That's what I would want from the hardcore mode. I wouldn't want you to die extra quick or anything like that, or survivor, you know. Just, you know, take away some of the more casual features, give us a hardcore mode, and I'll be fine with that. The last man standard mode, I forget the name of it from the first game, but where everyone has one life and there's like 3 or 4 rounds, that can come back. Again, I never really played it too much. In theory, that, you know, seems like a kind of a hardcore mode. You would think that would be like the custom mode that people would go to, but whenever I play custom games with people, we never really went to that mode. It was still the base team deathmatch, so I'm not too sure. You know, those 2 game modes from the original game didn't really get too much play, but I'm down for it coming back. So, you know, can mix it up every now and then, but still I don't see them getting that much play. And that's all. I'm not asking for too much, am I? A core factions experience from the first game with 1 or 2 new game modes. Don't go overboard with story. Don't make it free to play, and I'll be happy. I am concerned because Naughty Dog devs were hyping up that remake, and we saw how that turned out. You know, we did get a couple of tweets when this was announced saying, you know, core factions player, don't worry, we got you. You know, the developers working on this are some of the biggest factions fans. You got nothing to worry about. But just because they said that, I'm not sure. They've said that about previous onlines, you know, Uncharted 4. You know, it was cool, but it had its downsides. But there's a lot of new people over there. Some of the multiplayer people that people didn't like have left. So I am interested to see the new direction and where they take it. You know, I'm just not too sure. I can't say it has my 100% confidence because we don't know what it looks like. We don't know what it's going to be. We know it's a standalone. We know we get more information next year. Apparently, factions fans will be happy, but, you know, I'm not trying to take the word for it just yet until I see a bit more. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoy. Let me know what you're looking forward to. And, yeah, I'm going to head out. And best believe when it drops, you know, I'm going to still be there regardless. Hey, I got to at least try it out. So, I'm going to be on them servers day 1. I'll probably drop a review and everything, so, you know, stay on the lookout. And I'm gonna head out. Peace.